Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is KDK Keeldike. So in today's video review, we're going to take a look at the brand new Zen Link from Collective Minds exclusively for the Cronuszen. This is a Cronuszen expansion module. And just some quick thoughts on this before I get into the full tutorial and breakdown. I've had some of you trying to discourage me from actually needing one of these, saying, Keo, you can hook up your PlayStation controller or another controller using the Cronuszen, another method. There's another bypass method. And so I got this device, I actually got this, it's in January now. I think I got this at the end of November, something like that. And so now finally got a chance to really dive into it. Really great that I did. This Zen Link is $29.99, and what this does is it allows you to wirelessly connect directly to your PS5 or PlayStation 5 console without having to do any other intrusive methods. If you guys know PlayStation 5, Sony blocked out the Cronuszen from officially being supported, really officially working directly on the unit. In fact, it was really hard for them to kind of quote unquote jailbreak the unit when the Cronuszen first came out. It was not compatible. So lo and behold, today they have an official adapter, and I was totally blown away. In fact, I was messing around with this for about 3 hours. I was looking at the Collective Minds YouTube video, and it kind of lost me because I was kind of familiar with PlayStation Remote access. So what this adapter does, it allows you to use your controller, your PlayStation controller with the Cronuszen. And of course, it allows you to hook up additional gaming adaptive controllers. As you can see here, I'm using Xbox directly to the PS5. So after playing around with this for several hours, I woke up today and I was phenomenally impressed with this module. Let's get into the video. I want you guys to hear all of my thoughts as to why this was groundbreaking. And I know it's 2025, it's brand new, but this is a new revolutionary piece of technology for the entire gaming market. Gave me a ton of ideas today. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know what time it is. All right, so the Zen Link adapter ran me $29.99, and after screwing around with this thing for about several hours, I woke up this morning, I finally realized exactly what this thing is. This thing takes the place of your PlayStation Remote access. So for example, if you guys are familiar, typically you have to turn off your controller on the PS5 and then you have to set it up on your computer, and it was laggy, it was hiccupy. I mean, I wasn't really impressed on it. I thought I was going to do a video on it several months ago. And with the Cronuszen, that was the only way. You would have to hook this up to the computer like I have right now, and then you would have to use PS remote access in order to play your PlayStation games. And honestly, that was not going to work, because if you're using that type of method, it's slow down. If you have some graphical programs running or whatever in the background, even running at 760p or even 360p, which was the recommended resolution, you had a ton of different slowdown. You had a bunch of latency issues. For me, I don't know about you guys, but that wasn't the way to really use the Cronuszen, because it's not 1080p, it's not 4K, and so it wasn't really the way to go. So after playing around with several hours today, I then realized, after I had this all hooked up, unplugged my Xbox controller, unplugged the Cronuszen, I finally realized what this thing is. This is the brand new PS5 PlayStation Remote Play. This little dongle is now taking the place of the Remote Play. So the install process, it was kind of simple, but at the same time really wasn't, because of the directions or whatever that I had to need to follow. So basically what this does is allows you to set up your settings. You hook up and install your network settings directly into this device. You have to log it in over your home network, type in your password for your SSID. You also register your PlayStation on the network through this device, and it's only a one-time setup. And this unit device constantly makes the PlayStation 5 thinks that you're playing remotely or using the PlayStation Remote access. That's pretty cool, huh? So, tons of possibilities with this. So, no longer do you have to use that app. You can use this directly. And right now, my PlayStation thinks I'm remote gaming. It thinks I'm using my computer, which I'm not. Everything that you would need on your computer to run remote play is embedded in this device. Now, the software itself is not saved or anything on here. What Cronuszen does, it allows you to run their application. Again, you save all your settings from the remote play. You take all of your PlayStation login information. The only thing that you don't have to do with the PlayStation, if you guys use the remote play, is disable the Bluetooth. That was the only step that I really missed when I was going through the process. So typically with the remote play, you have to disable the Bluetooth controller adapter on here. You have to turn off your accessories and then log into your computer and use the remote play. You don't have to do that. You set up your remote play. You have this logged in, type in your stuff. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I want to show you exactly how to fully set this up. And honestly, too, for those of you who follow me in the RetroPie community, this inspired me to get PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 compatibility working with RetroPie, which we do have officially supported now. I cannot believe it. This opens up a ton of different possibilities because this will essentially allows you to use remote play on any PC compatible device, and it's already set up. You don't even need that freaking software anymore. So let's go ahead and get set up. I want to walk you guys through some of the process. That'll kind of just short tailor how you guys get this done. Again, $29.99 takes a few days for it to arrive in the mail. Currently, they're sold out online, so make sure you guys jump on the ball when they do become available. All right, so before we get started, I'll walk you guys through how to get this set up for your PS5 using your PC. I want to show you guys some of the comparable differences between the Zen Link and the P5 Make in case you're asking questions. Now, the P5 Make was sent to me last year for review. It is using an official encoder pulled out from one of the other PlayStation recognize licensed controllers, which is why it works. However, there are a few features that it does not support. So here's a few breakdowns of what the Zen Link provides compared to one of the other top leading competitors right now in the market. So it offers full PS5 support. It offers DualSense Bluetooth connectivity, which most of you have been asking for here on the channel. Haptic vibration feedback. So it does have that responsive feedback as you could typically use. In fact, it does pass through even on my Xbox controller. Touchpad 2 finger press is fully inactive. Gyroscope motion control, which you guys will also see here in the video. DualSense microphone support, DualSense speaker, headset audio, adds Wi-Fi support to Cronuszen. Beam 2.0 game pack support, and it has future-proof updates exclusive to Cronus. So one of my buddies was asking me how come the Cronuszen just didn't add a special encoder just like the P5 Mate does. Well, again, remember the Cronuszen is a full-fledged universal emulator for controllers. So it wouldn't really be smart to go ahead and add a specific controller when you already have a product on the market. They don't need to add a specific encoder for the device, so this is the best method in which they can go through. Again, the P5 Mate retails for $59.99. That is the same manufacturer of that U5 one adapter that is totally obsolete, if you guys remember the company of B Savior. So a $20 difference between the two, $29.99, $59.99. I'm not sure if the P5 Mate is currently in stock, but however, the Zen Link is on back order right now. It's totally out of stock. In the box, you get the Zen Link device, and you also get a 3 foot USB, or 1 foot, 1 foot USB-C type cable connector, and you will need your Cronuszen in order for this to work. Now, before we get started in the full review, you will need to have your Cronuszen, and you will need to update to the latest software. All right, now once you have your Cronuszen inserted into your computer, I have several tutorials on this channel in terms of how to upgrade the firmware and upgrade the settings directly here through the Cronuszen software. So make sure you guys check out the Zen Studio updated build. If you don't even find my video, there's also several other videos out there within the community. I'm sure you guys can find it. I'm not going to walk you through that entire process because that's pretty much been a long since project or process since now. It's really easy format. So what you want to do is make sure that you load your Cronuszen into your bootloader and update the firmware and everything. It usually takes about a good 2 or 3 minutes in order to do that. Now I was watching the Collective Minds video. I was kind of following along, and what they also recommend and what they do suggest is that the Zen configurator software is supposed to automatically download. I couldn't find that, and so I had to download the software myself, and this is it right here. This is the Zen Link configurator.exe. You can search for it. It's also on the Zen Collective Minds website where you can find this software. You're also going to need the PlayStation Remote Play installer software here, which you can download directly from the Remote Play website. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to put your PlayStation directly into the remote play share position. All right, now if you're like me who haven't turned the PlayStation 5 on in quite some time, your PlayStation 5 will need some additional updating. But make sure you go follow the settings. You want to go to your remote play settings and you want to pair your device with your computer. That should only take you a good few minutes in order to walk through that process. You don't have to turn off any of the controllers. So if you guys are familiar with the additional remote play access trying to turn on the Cronuszen, you do not need to go to accessories and disable the Bluetooth pairing. You can pretty much leave that fully activated. So what you want to do is you want to go pair your device, and roughly around the same time you want to also turn on the additional software called Remote Play Installer on your PlayStation, on your PC, and you want to go ahead and activate it. And once you have your remote play software hooked up, it's going to ask you to manually, you're going to have two options. It's going to ask you to manually input your PlayStation ID number. You can install the software. You're also going to need a registered account. It's going to ask you which device do you want to go ahead and connect to. You can select your PS4 or your PS5. Once you select the device you want, it's going to make sure that you're able to connect. It's going to look for your PlayStation directly on your wireless network, and it's going to ask you if you want to pair manually if you can't detect it that way. Now your PlayStation 5 is going to give you an 8-digit code that you need to type in. You're going to take that 8-digit code and you're going to type it in the PlayStation Remote Play software. And once you have your PlayStation Remote Play software fully activated, you're going to go ahead and run the Zen Link configurator software. Once you pull it up, it's going to look pretty much like this. It's really simple. It's going to ask you to type in your SSID. Now, one of the other challenges here that's usually really unique to this situation is you're supposed to disconnect your computer from a hard line and make sure you're using your Wi-Fi only, so that way it registers. So your SSID, that is your network name. If you guys aren't familiar with that terminology, you're going to type in your SSID name, which is your the name that you use to name the wireless network within your house. You also want to type in that password. You're going to read those settings from Windows. It's going to store the settings directly into the Zen Link. You're also going to pull up the defaulted port name, and it's also going to automatically pull up the console name from your PS5. It's going to take all of the firmware versions, it's going to take all the information, and it's going to save it directly into the Zen Link. You actually going to load up all the information. Once you're done with it, you're going to go ahead, restart your device, and everything is going to save permanently. Now, I believe the only time you may need to change this is if you happen to take this to somebody else's household. The way the Zen Link works is it takes your Wi-Fi network and all the information that is sharing between your Wi-Fi network and your PlayStation Remote Play, and it embeds it permanently. Now, in terms of the other information, the PlayStation 5, you will only need to redo this if you ever plan to take this to a friend's house, use it on their PS5, and if you're on a different wireless network. I think that kind of goes without saying, but you will need to do that every time you hook it up to a different PlayStation or a different home network. Other than that, if you're just using your own PlayStation 5 or your own home network, you won't have to change any of these settings. It is always permanent. Once you reboot the device, your PC would automatically detect the Zen Link, and you will be able to fully connect this now directly to your PlayStation 5 using the Cronuszen. Now, for the purposes of this video, I will leave my Cronuszen plugged in so you guys can see all of the device actions. However, you do not have to have the Cronuszen hooked up directly to the PlayStation I'm sorry, you do not need to have the Cronuszen hooked up to the PC in order for this to work. Make sure you set the right output protocol directly for your Cronuszen. And as you can see over here on the right, the Zen Link is now being detected because I have it plugged in. It uses a USB-C connection. We're going to take the Zen Link and plug in the USB-A port directly into the left side of the Cronuszen. This is the part where you typically would use your authenticative controller in order to authenticate additional controllers for your Cronuszen, especially in this case, you're using it for your PlayStation 5. So remember, the Zen Link is acting as the official authenticated controller for this particular process. However, the Cronuszen or the PlayStation 5 is going to recognize it as remote play, even though we're not officially on the computer any longer. All right, now as you can see, we're back in front of the PlayStation 5. I have my Zen Link hooked up here. We have our Cronuszen. As you can see, this is typically the port, as I was making reference to, what you would use to authenticate your PlayStation controller. And then this would be my Xbox controller in this particular case, which I have plugged in. This is also Bluetooth compatible, so you don't have to use a wired connection for your controller. You could use any type of Bluetooth enabled device in order for it to read. We also have our Xbox controller, as you can see, fully hooked up to the PlayStation. Actually is running directly into the prog port here on the Cronuszen. And we're also going to have this particular cable running into the back of the unit for the PlayStation. So once you get that all plugged in, the unit will make sure you have everything disconnected first before you plug everything in. You will need to plug everything in one at a time in order for the PlayStation to fully recognize the device. If you have any problems hooking it up, I had some issues in the past where it was already plugged in, had to fully unplug everything, plug it back in order for the PS remote play in order to be fully detected and for the controller to work. But pretty much that is it. That is the entire setup process. Really straightforward, really easy. It should only probably take you about a good, full 10 minutes if you're going to do the full firmware and software updates for all of the software. And again, this will work for all of your wireless devices. This will work for your Bluetooth devices, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Wii, and other various devices. But again, as I was saying earlier, this thing is a remarkable piece of technology, because considering with something like this, since this device is allowing us to use PlayStation Remote in order to access PlayStation, you could potentially hook this up in your Tesla or play some games wirelessly from your PlayStation directly to your center console if it can accept a USB port. So those are some things to kind of tinker around with. This is why we decided to go ahead and integrate PlayStation Remote Play on a RetroPie, on the Pi 5. If you guys don't follow my other stuff, that's pretty much what I also do here. But I'm going to experiment with this because this is really, really awesome. Remember, the PlayStation Remote software is dedicated for a PC, and I hated that software because it was a bunch of lag, a bunch of latency. It wasn't really doable. It was 720p. I run a bunch of animations on my graphic wallpaper on my computer that interfered with the performance of it. And so I don't know why it's such a resource hog mentality, but considering this bypass, well, I'm not even going to say really bypasses it, but it takes the settings from remote play and it stores it in this little device and makes everything work directly through the Cronuszen or this particular device itself. Awesome job, fellas. Awesome job, guys over at the Cronuszen team. I need to get another one of these because I know some devs that want these, but currently they are sold out. So stay tuned here. I'll probably do a follow-up video on this to see exactly what else the Zen Link can be used for. But again, this is a remarkable piece of technology. I even tried using it on my Pi and several other devices, but we'll see. But check it out, guys. Like and subscribe. $29.99. Fantastic stuff. I do a lot of good gaming here. But, if you guys have any questions or concerns about this, if I fail to miss something, please just let me know. I like to be really detailed, but that is pretty much all the information that we have here for this. But those were a couple of the steps that I missed in the Collective Minds website on their video review. Was kind of going through this was the fact that you don't need to deactivate the Bluetooth setting on the controller. I kind of went through some of the processes of the Zen Link not the Zen Link, I'm sorry. I kind of went through the process of fully setting up remote play to get this to work, and obviously that is not fully needed. It's an entirely different bypass that allows you to use your Cronuszen officially with full haptic feedback and all the features as you would your regular PlayStation controller. So with that being said, guys, I will catch you guys later. Like and subscribe. I'll hit you up. Peace out. Bye-bye.